Hi to everyone. For this our fourth lesson, we are going to learn how we can use the different regular verbs in Italian. In Italian, we have three groups of verb. I stress that we are speaking about regular verbs. For what it regard the first kind of group, is that kind of group that ends with are. So in are, I have the blackboard now, and so of this kind of group, for example, we have the verb parlare, that in English means to talk. Um, Even if in English we have the difference between speak and talk, in Italian there isn't. There is just this verb that is parlare. So how you can use the different verbs? How I said also in another kind of video, in Italian you can avoid to use the persons because you can use just the verb, as every person uses different in a different way that verb. So every verb for every person is different, and you can recognize easily that kind of verb from which persons derive. So how you can conjunct your verb? So as you can see, this is the infinitive form. This infinitive form is created by the first part, that is in this case parle. That's the root of the word. What does it mean, the root? Is that part of the word that doesn't change ever. It's always the same. So the final, that is are, is so in this case what is stressing the infinitive form. So it's that kind of element of the word that is going to change during the conjunction, because during the conjunction we have to replace this ending part, that is the infinitive, with some different kind of endings. Which kind of endings? For what that regard this first group that finish with are, so like amare, that is to love, amare, or giocare, that is to play, we have different endings. So for every person we have always the root that doesn't change, and we have always different endings. So for the first person, that is io, we have parle, that is, as I said before, the root that doesn't change. For the first person, we have like ending the o. So, io parlo. Tu, second person, parli. Because parle is always there, is the root. Egli parla. Noi parliamo. Voi parlate. Essi parlano. So, for what that regard the regular verbs, you have just to see what is the ending. If the ending is this, so are, you have just to replace are with these different endings that you have just to add to that kind of verb. So they are not the ending of just the verb parlare, but every kind of regular verb that finish with are. So giocare, it becomes io gioco, tu giochi, egli gioca, noi giochiamo, voi giocate, essi giocano. That is the verb to play. Other verb I said before, amare, that is to love. Finish with are, that is this verb, sorry. amare. Okay, amare. So finish with are, where is here? That's the root. So we have io amo, tu ami, egli ama, noi amiamo, voi amate, essi amano. So you have to memorize the endings. These endings, for what it regards the verbs that finish with are always the same. You have just to add them, replacing the heading and the ending, sorry, that is in this case amare, adding so all these different conjunction to the root. So every kind of regular verb that finish with are. I know it's boring to memorize something, but they are really useful because the verbs are really important in a conversation, everything. It's the base of a communication, the basic form to communicate the verb. So you have to memorize, but once you have memorized, they are always the same for the regular verb with are. Sorry if I repeat the same thing with regular verb with are, but it's just to help you in memorizing. So we have o, I, a, iamo, ate, hanno. So this is for what that regard the first group. For what that is regard the second group, we have a different ending, and this kind of ending is in ere. Ere, not ire. Ere. An example of this verb of the second group is, for example, leggere. That means to read. I hope that you understand my written. Leggere, it means read. So as you can see, ere is the final part of the verb. And we have legge, that's the root. So it's the part that doesn't change. In this case, we have o, like the first ending, because we have leggo, tu leggi, egli legge. This word legge, it means low. So pay attention because it's both the third singular person of the verb to read, and it means also the substantive, the word, sorry, low. Then we have noi leggiamo, voi leggete, essi leggono. So as you can see, it's slightly different, this second group. But as the first kind of group, you have to memorize just the endings here, that they have to be added to the root of the verb. So leggere is just an example. Every kind of regular form that finish with ere is of the second group, and you have to put this kind of endings. I repeat the verb. Io leggo, tu leggi, egli legge, noi leggiamo, voi leggete, essi leggono. Okay, after this second group, I finish explaining you the third kind of group. Once you memorize just the kind of endings, every kind of regular verb is really easy to memorize and to write, to say, because it's just the root that we have in infinitive form and plus the endings. So it's really, really easy, don't worry. For what that regards the regular verbs, even for Italian, for Italian people, are really hard to memorize, so don't worry at all. The third group is with the ending in ira. I say in Italian, so not in English. Ira. Ira. We can say, for example, as the verb of the third group, dormire, that it means to sleep. Dormire, to sleep. Okay, in this case we have no, no, yes. Io dormo, tu dormi, egli dorme, noi dormiamo, no, no, sì, voi dormite, essi dormono, io dormo, tu dormi, egli dorme, noi dormiamo, voi dormite, essi dormono. I'm sorry that I didn't say a really important thing, that these kind of verbs are referred to the present, of course. So the first, the present tense, all the persons, but present, because for the others we have different kind of designations of endings. So the kind of verb that finish with ira, in this case we have this kind of root. Okay? Okay, with this kind of grammatic rule, we have already finished because I don't want to explain a lot of stuff on grammatic, because I know that everything in grammatic of every kind of language is it's a bit boring, but in this case I'm really explaining you the really basic stuff, very important um, to speak also with other words, with not the really basic but other verbs. In this case, with this kind of explanation, you can use all the other verbs, even if you don't know how to build them during the conversation, because once you know every kind of ending, you can use them without problems. For the next episode, I want to learn you the words of the week. And for another episode, I will explain you also the numbers. So I hope that you are enjoying my videos, and see you next time. Bye.